Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us, wherever you're watching this interview. My name is Itoro Umatwin, and I am the managing editor at the Atlanta Voice. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at the Atlanta Voice and on our YouTube at Atlanta Voice. We got a special guest in the building, so tell us who you are, what your name is, where you come from, and all that good stuff.
Bonika Wilson, thank you, East World, for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
Good deal, good deal. So you have a book, Marriage Business from Proposal to Prosperity, Building Your Dynasty the Fortune 500 Way. It's the number one book in three distinct categories on Amazon. So tell us about tell us about the title, number one. How did you settle on the title? And then two, what are the things you're looking to accomplish with the book?
I don't know how I settled on the title. I think the whole concept though was about applying business concepts to your marriage. So thus marriage business. The subtitle from Proposal to Prosperity is really about from the moment you get married to the end of your life, the legacy that you leave. And in the book, I talk about the difference between like leaving a legacy and leaving a dynasty, and why dynasty is even more important than legacy. So that's really kind of the title. The concept of the book is all about this business piece, and how if you're winning in business by applying strategic planning, business concepts, then you can also win in your marriage the same way.
I tend to agree with that. I was a business student when I was in college at Tennessee State. So I can see how you can, the business principles of sound accounting and strategic planning and, when it comes to families, you want your, strategic planning for your kids and all those different things. So, in what ways? Because I noticed the big rock on your finger when you walked in here. So clearly something is working. Tell us how, in your marriage and in your life, you're able to apply those principles.
For sure. So for me, we did not always apply the principles. And I think over the years in my corporate arena, my corporate background, oftentimes when my clients, my business clients, I only dealt with businesses in my corporate background, when they came to me with problems in their business, whether it was when I was a commercial banker and I was financing the business, or when I was a consultant doing the organizational strategy for the business, whenever there was a problem or a gap in the business, we kind of went back to the foundation. So tell me, what's that core values? What is your strategic plan? What was your original business plan? What was the founding principles of this business? So I could kind of start from there, like, let's see where we fell off the path. And so for me, I always kind of went back to that as the foundation to start to fix the problems. And oftentimes, in just these random conversations with my girlfriends, you know how we do as Black women, we have a lot of conversations with our girlfriends about everything, but relationships come up quite often. And I was joking one day with my girlfriend saying, it would be funny, if I could help you and your husband solve this problem by directing you back to your strategic plan. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, that's how I fix problems at work. That's the only way I know how to fix problems is by a plan, like having a strategy. And we don't have that in our marriage. And I was like, it would be so cool though if we had that, and so that's kind of where the idea was birthed, if you will, is going back to like having a strategic plan for businesses. Wow, if we could apply that concept in our marriage, would it work? Could it work? Perhaps. And so that was kind of where the idea was birthed. I actually started writing the book over 10 years ago, but really didn't start implementing the work and the foundation and the core of the book, all of the theories and concepts in the book in my own marriage until about 6 years ago. And we've been winning ever since. And I'm like, this is good stuff. I need to go ahead and finish this book. So it's been a work in progress. But I think for me, it was important for me to know that it really worked, to putting out material out there and not sure that it worked. So for me, like, I am the guinea pig for this. My husband and I, like, I know it works now because I've been applying the concepts for 6 years. And then I felt like, well, you know what? This is working, and God has, given me this winning formula for my marriage, and I shouldn't keep it to myself. So anyways, finished the book finally after like literally 10 years on this journey. And I'm just really excited about being able to, share with other people, and the feedback that we're getting already. The book went out on Amazon December 10th. And already, like, we're flooded with just, oh my God, I'm using this. Oh my God, this is really working for us. We're doing a whole like group now of our couples doing it together. So to get that feedback, that's really where I'm winning, versus like, it's great to be winning in your own relationship, but when other people are winning, then that's really like, I feel like, God using a gift for me and using that to help others. So I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I mean, you having your example be a testimony and also being a light for other couples along this path is like very, very gratifying. Like, lets you know, like, you are in your purpose, like you're walking your purpose and you walking this out, and that's like a very powerful thing. Because I mean, because it's like y'all are relatable and it's real, and speaking of being relatable and real, social media is very real and very, ever present in our society. So there's two parts, but I'll get to this one first. So how do you navigate all of the things with, we got Twitter and Facebook and IG, like, don't let me get started on IG. But, we've got all these things, all these distractions, all the noise. How do you navigate that? And then also, how do you impart your wisdom upon other couples in those spaces?
Well, one way we navigate it is, in our own household, we try to limit it and have like structure in our own household. So we're really clear about, kind of how we use social media in our house. But I'll say the other thing is, and I talk about this in the book, is, when you think about business concepts, one of them is having a communication strategy. And I talk about having a communication strategy. What is your brand? What is your image? And as a couple, what is your brand? What is your image and how you show up? And so I talk about all of that really being strategic and thought out and planned. And so my husband and I actually talk about like how we show up. What is our brand? What is our image? What do we want to represent? So we're very thoughtful actually about how we show up. The other thing is, for me on like social media, I don't do a whole lot on social media. With regards to this, I like to start doing more, conferences and, marriage retreats, like for couples, because I think that's where you get the real nuggets. So for me, social media is really just an avenue to, have people know who I am, to engage a little bit. But I definitely need to probably leverage social media more, like do more lives and things like that, because I do not do that very well. But that's probably something I can learn from you, or you can help me with that.
I mean, I know a little something, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm pretty.
To enlist you for that.
Hey, we can make that work.
I'm gonna have to enlist you to help me with that.
So, the other side of the social media question. So, this is Atlanta. And earlier we talked about, my mom and all that stuff. One thing I didn't tell you, my mother, when I told her I was going to relocate to Atlanta, did not like the idea of me moving to Atlanta, because single Black women, they're everywhere. I'm a Black man with a plan and motion and this and that, and distractions. But in the era of social media, especially on IG, you have a lot of relationship podcasters out here. And they all will say basically love, marriage, relationships, everything is transaction. Like, I don't do for you unless you do for me. I don't I'm not going to stand up for you unless you, you know what I'm saying, stand up for me. Or these kind of like, as I said earlier, transactional things. So what would you say to the single woman that's trying to navigate this current climate of toxic relationships, toxic marriages, toxic messages on social media, where they're looking for love and they're looking for their person, as Gen Z loves to say? You know, how do you tell them what would you tell them and how to navigate all these different things?
That's such a great question. I guess I really have to think about it from what I would say to my own child. And it's really start with you, you know, like, 'cause we can get so caught up in what we're hearing on a podcast or in social media and all the, you know, don't go 50-50, you know, and all this other stuff. You know, remember that they were talking about that for a while, and should you invest or should you pay for this, and how much should you pay? And then they had the Tyler Perry thing when he was saying, yeah, a woman can invest in a man, and it was like all of that feedback. Right. It was a lot, right? And I would say two things. One, I would say first, focus on you, you know, before you go investing or doing any of that. Focus on you. And in the book, I talk about doing individual SWOT analysis. So as an individual, I need to know my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I need to know about me first and do a good assessment and evaluation of me and what I'm bringing to a relationship before I can even think about what I require from someone else. And I think so often we're requiring something from someone else that we're not even willing to give or we don't show up with. And I don't think that's fair. You know, so I think there has to be equity, there has to be alignment. And so before you can even talk about what you're looking for as a single woman and a man, you need to think, or, you know, whoever you're with, your partner, you need to first think about and understand what are you bringing? What's your qualities and characteristics and values? How do I strengthen someone else? Because when you get into a relationship, now you're talking about number two. Now I'm going into a relationship with someone. And now I'm requiring something. I got to be able to say and very strongly articulate, because here's what I'm bringing. Is this, and what I expect is this. And I talk about this in the book too, is this alignment, you know, having core values and being in alignment in our relationship before we can talk about a strategic plan. Well, how do you know if you're in alignment if you don't even know what you bring? Like you haven't done a good assessment of your individual self. You don't know how you align with somebody else or even what you're looking for. So I would tell my single girls in Atlanta and A, first, do a good assessment of me, right? Of you as an individual. You know what your strengths, weaknesses are, and opportunities and threats. And then know, you know, especially looking at weaknesses, well, where's the strength in another man who can offset where my weaknesses are? That's when you talk about alignment. And so I think it's important to, one, do the individual work so that you know what you're looking for. And then you can have a very defined outline of what it is that's important to you and what you're looking for. And I don't believe in that checkbox thing that people do. You know, I got to have this, and this. I don't believe in that, but I do believe understanding what my core values are, what's important to me. Like for me, one of my core values is impact. I want to leave an impact. Well, I got to find somebody who's equally aligned. Like, are you trying to leave an impact, you know, and that type of thing. So I think, you know, Tori, we talked a little bit too earlier about just kind of the work that you're doing and how you really satisfied when you come to work every day. But you've done a lot of work. You kind of had some experiences that helped you get there to know, like, this is what I love doing. But you had to like go through some stuff before you got there. You had to go through that experiential learning. Right. And now you know exactly what you want to do in your career and you're enjoying it. But you had to go through some things. You had to do some assessing yourself. And I think that's what we do not do that enough as individuals before we go out here. Girl, I want this, and this. This is my 6 things on my checklist. And you don't even have half of them things yourself, you know? And so that's what I think we do as women, is we have these requirements that we can't even fulfill for ourselves. We got to do better than that. So,
I mean, he need to have a 730 credit score. He need a G-Wagon. He need to live off Habersham Road and he need to take me to Turks in the winter and Bali in the spring, and I need 6 vacations. But you stay in a 1-bedroom
apartment. Not even a house.
Not even a house.
And you get requirements like that.
And you can't get a loan.
That part.
And your credit is terrible. And you can't save money. But I got a man for that. See, that part right there,
that
y'all.
Part.
That part right there.
That's
see, let me not preach, because I'm not gonna. We not going there.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
but you're absolutely right. We got to bring our best selves before we go requiring that from other people. And that's really what, I think you and I are aligned with that. See, we in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
It's all we in alignment.
We here.
Yes.
Right.
You gotta assess yourself and bring your best self before you go putting these 10 requirements for somebody. And you haven't, the biggest trip you ever did was California, but you're talking about Bali is a requirement for me. So anyway.
Right.
I must get off.
Ooh, child. Ooh, child. There's a photo of you that went viral. I think maybe during the homecoming period, that time in October where everybody like, I wonder what she doing. I wonder what he doing. And, da, 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 da. And then your cheerleading photo went viral. First of all, tell the people about your HBCU experience. And then secondly, when that photo of you back in the day popped up and went viral, how'd you feel about that? And more importantly, how'd your man feel about that?
Those are two good questions. I'm going to start with the HBCU experience because that is so important. And you and I, we share that HBCU experience. And to me, it's so foundational to who I am today is my HBCU experience. So originally I was going to a whole different school than Virginia State, and things happened and I went to Virginia State. And the thing about it is because I was not originally going there, I did not apply for like financial aid or any of that, right? So I was like way after the pot of financial aid was divvied out already. And so I remember, getting there and like talking to financial aid office. He's like, financial aid, all that money is gone. So you're not getting that money. And my family, like we're poor. We're a poor family. So my mom and dad did not go to college. I'm first educated in my family. So my mom, sweet thing, she dropped me off. I'm from Ohio in Virginia, 8 hours away. Bye-bye, have a nice day.
What part of Ohio?
Cleveland.
Okay.
Can't you tell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she drops me off and leaves, right, Issa? And then, they're like, you need to get validated. I was like, so I called my mom, hey mom, did you pay for school? She's like, oh, I thought you got accepted. That means I can come. Like you didn't know you had to pay for it?
You got it, yeah.
Oh no. I was poor mama. She didn't even, she thought, I guess, accepted me as scholarship. Like you good financially. So my mom left me in Virginia. And do you know, like every day I'm like looking for money, like my mom ain't got money. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm going back and forth for literally a week. Like they tell me by Friday you have to get out of the door. Like by 5 o'clock on Friday. So we trying to find a way. I'm going to this financial aid office, staying there every day. I mean, like when they got there, when they leave at night, I'm like, y'all leaving for the day? Did y'all find anything? And he was like, look, it's really nothing, but I'm gonna keep trying. And I stayed, and at 5:15, 5:30 on a Friday, the phone is ringing. I'm waiting for my mom to come, right? And I'm old, so go out in the dorm. You have the phone and the pay phone in the lobby.
Right.
So I go out the hallway. I'm hearing the phone ring. It has to be my mom. It's 5 o'clock on Friday. Who's calling Friday? So I'm like, yeah, mom. It's Mr. Johnson at the financial aid office. Over the director of financial aid. Hello, yes. Yeah. Can you come over to the financial aid office? I'm like, right now, at a HBCU, it's 5 o'clock on a Friday. Ain't nobody.
No one's there.
So I was like, he want my key because it's 5 o'clock Friday. So I'm reluctantly going over there, dejected. Let me take my key. My mom's not even here yet. I guess I'm gonna have to wait till she gets here. Go into the financial aid office. Mr. Johnson slides this piece of paper over to me and said, here you go. It's enough on there to get you validated and some leftover for food.
Wow.
I boo-hoo cried. I lost it. So I was like literally fell on my knees in this man's office. And he said, it's something about you. The mere fact that you've been here every day, all day, even when we close the office for lunch, you know they close the office down and go to lunch.
They
and
sure do.
They all go like a little tribe of Army people. I'm like, why y'all all gotta go take lunch at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
But that's an HBCU thing. Lock the door. I would stay out there and wait. And he was like, it's something about your determination. I don't know. He's like, I'm gonna watch you. And every semester I'm gonna be looking to make sure you raise it right. He was like, but I believe something about it. And to have this man believe in me and say, I believe in you, it was like, when I tell you the foundation of everything I did at Virginia State was, I'm not letting this go. I don't care. I can't stay out all night because I got to keep my grades up so I can get that money. I can get validated. Mr. Johnson took care of me the whole 4 years I was at Virginia State. Make sure I get validated, had enough of books, and get this. This is the kicker to the story. 10 years later, my younger sister went to Virginia State and graduated. And do you know Mr. Johnson made sure she got validated every semester as well?
Wow.
So that's my HBCU story.
That's brilliant.
My sister is Legacy Virginia State. I mean, like, it changed our life. You know, again, we were first generation to be college educated. So VSU is a big deal. So, of course, when the picture goes viral with VSU on the shirt, something that has been so foundational to me and my family, my sister now graduated of Virginia State. My sister, get this, Etoro, a woo-woo as well. My sister was a woo-woo 10 years after I was at Virginia State. So it's just a rich legacy now for our family now. And so to see the picture go viral after 28 years, by the way. We took that picture in 1995. 28 years, and we're getting ready, that our squad we came cheerleaders in 1994. We're celebrating our 30 year this year, 2024. So it went viral, and we're celebrating our 30 years. So it's just a big deal. It warms my heart. So anyway, it's been a blessing to have that picture go viral here while we celebrate our 30-year anniversary.
I love it. And I mean, there's something to be said for just the wonderful testimonies at HBCUs. You know, sure, you know, had my fair share of, you know, being purged and having to re-register, and you got all the things. But I think what makes all that unique is you find out who you are, you find out what you're made of, and you discover things about yourself, the inner strength that you've got that you didn't know existed because we weren't put in that kind of fire. Like, and I think like that's what makes, you know, people say, it's inefficient, shouldn't be doing all that. But at the same time, it's the skills of having to work through problems and trying to problem solve, and communication and staying on people and keeping the paper trail and doing all the things. All those things are relevant today in the year of our Lord 2024. So, you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So
HBCU experience is like no other. And then, you know, the other thing I'll just add to that before we go to the next thing. At the end of the day, that story was about somebody saying, I believe. And I feel like that's the thread at HBCUs, is that you have, whether it's your professors or, you know, the administrators or the other students who become your community, you constantly feel like there are people that believe in you. And then for me, like, I became the vice president of my freshman class, cheerleader, like I was a leader on the campus. It wasn't like I was running up against people that, you know, I could make excuses that's why I didn't win. No, I didn't have that excuse, you know. So for me, it was the possibilities are unlimited, you know, at the HBCU. It's our ability, our area, our opportunity to like try stuff on, to your point, be able to advocate for yourself, build some confidence before we get out here in the world where you don't have that safety net.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like you're thrown to the wolves. But it's like that's your safety zone where you're like, here, you can mess up, you can make mistakes, and this is where you are. And we believe in you. So go ahead and do that, because it's not going to be so forgiving when you finish, you know? And so for me, and that's probably your testament too, is that I would think, you probably Tennessee State probably had that thread of I believe in you somewhere throughout the 4 or 5 years, you were there as well. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. Dean Heitch, he was the VP of Student Affairs. He would always look at me and like, my parents, they were all about education, but the way Dean Heitch would explain it to me as a 18 to 22-year-old trying to navigate, okay, what do I want to do, and how am I going to make a living when I get out of here? What job am I going to get? But I also want to be fulfilled in what I do, because when I graduated in 2006, that's when that shift from go get a job, boom, 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 to where now it's like, you got to be happy and fulfilled in what you're doing. Like my era was like the shift was happening. So Dean Heitch, there was who else? Band directors. Reginald McDonald, the current director of the Aristocratic Bands, great friend of mine, lovely, lovely, lovely man. Literally would go to bat for anybody. Edward Graves, the former band director, literally would find scholarship money out of thin air for my friends in the band. And he'd just be like you said, believe in you. But at the same time,
you better not let me.
You better not let me. Right.
Right. Exactly. It was like having your parents, like your second set of parents.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, I'm gonna give you a little, little string, and I don't want to snap you back, but if I have to snatch you back, I will,
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
And it was just how, the way the messages were delivered. Mm-hmm. It's talk to you in a way where it's like it cuts you here. Mm-hmm. And it's like there's no confusion, there's no okay, I know what I got to do and go out here and I'm just run this play.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So we're gonna land the plane. I want to thank you, Bonika, for coming out here, and I love spending time with you. Like, this has been wonderful. You live in Charlotte, right? You and your husband live in Charlotte, right? Mm-hmm.
But technically, we're Atlantans because we were here. Still feel like very strongly connected to our Atlanta community and our Atlanta family.
I mean, once the A-town, once you're A-town,
it's like, I feel like I still have a residence here. So.
Hey,
we'll probably be back any day now. I'm telling my husband, look, I'm finding houses every day. I'm looking at houses, sending them to him. But yeah, so we're gonna do it. But yes.
Mm-hmm. How can people keep up with you? How can people get in touch with you, follow you on social, your website, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for asking. You can follow me at The Business with B on Instagram and on, what is it called? TikTok. I'm old. What is it called? TikTok.
Yes.
And then my website is bonikawilson.com. So BONIKA Wilson.com. And don't forget to pick up Marriage Business on Amazon, or you can go to my webpage, bonikawilson.com, and also purchase the book right from the website.